Now, this question gets asked to me quite often, and I needed to do a video just to explain it a little bit more in detail. It's a little bit too much of a deep explanation to put into a simple post. So I'm just going to film this video just as a little bit of an explanation. How do I deal with anxiety? Well, there tends to be two kinds of anxieties, simple and complex anxiety. And the simple ones is more about a certain event in the future, such as being on stage when you've got to perform. There's hundreds of pairs of eyeballs on you. You're a little bit worried, you're a little bit freaking out a little bit, and it's giving you a little bit of anxiety. And then there's the complex anxiety, which is such as the generalized anxieties and social anxiety and panic attacks, that kind of thing. And what's causing that is an overstimulation of the nervous system, an overstimulation, let me pronounce that properly, overstimulation of the nervous system. And that is being driven by certain feelings and emotions and traumas that have happened in the past. Many people get prescribed medication, to see counseling, to see talk therapies, all these mainstream therapies. They tend to just deal with the situation as it's happening. However, you're already feeling it. You're already in a deep state of anxiety for those interventions to be useful at all. So I'm just going to give a little bit of a explanation just to show what's happening in the past, what's happening in the present and the future, just so that just to put it onto paper, so to speak. I'm going to share my screen. All right, here we go. So what's causing the overstimulation of the nervous system is traumas and emotions that have taken place in the past. And they come from traumas. And then there's feelings such as remorse, feelings of regret, feelings of guilt, feelings of shame. And then what they tend to drive, those emotions, what they're driving is what's happening in the future. And they present themselves as feelings of anxiety, feelings of worry, and also rumination too. Rumination just being your thoughts just looping and feeding into themselves and just intensifying the more that you're focusing on them. And then what tends to happen from there is what's happening in the present. And these present themselves in ways such as feelings of anger, feelings of frustration, just where you're triggered into feelings of anger, you're lashing out and you're just behaving really angrily just because of something so trivial, something that's just menial, means very little, but you're still lashing out. So when you're taking medications and you're working with mainstream therapies, talk therapies and the like, what they tend to work with is just what's presenting itself, just the symptoms, what's happening here. Now, what the flaw with that is, if these get knocked out, it creates a void. And because all the emotions and traumas that have taken place in the past, if that void is still there, it's only a matter of time before that void gets replaced with similar anxieties, similar feelings of worry, those rumination sensations that keep on feeding into itself. Because what's going on there is like, this is what's driving all this here. And those anxieties, worries that happen in the future, they then lead into what's happening into the present. Those angers and those frustrations. And then, because that's taking place, they then feed back into these emotions here, taking place in the past, and thus the cycle continues. It's like a vicious cycle, just going round and round. So well and good talking about these anxieties and these worries and the anger, addressing that. It's okay, but it's a short-term fix. Potentially just making it more intense as time goes along. So then when we come to do the work together, first of all, we are going to, we're first of all going to address all the stuff that's happened with the traumas, and then we are going to then knock them out. Bang. Then we're going to look at the feelings of remorse and regrets. We're going to start working towards knocking them out too, and the regret too. And guilt, that tends to be quite prominent with many of my clientele. That tends to be something that's a big driver of anxiety. So then we're going to work towards knocking them out, as well as the shame. At that point onwards, then we'll start looking at what's happening in the present. We'll start working with dealing with the anger and the frustration. Take them out too. And so what we're left with are these here. What's the anxiety in the future? Then what tends to happen is, because they've got no foundations, they've got no structure anymore, this here just takes care of itself. There's nothing to support it anymore. It just disappears, because what we dealt with, that was the past emotions, the past traumas, they've gone. We've taken care of that. So then the anxieties and the worries and the ruminating, there's nothing to support it. It's gone. It takes care of itself. And I hope this explanation, stop sharing my screen. I do hope that this has been super insightful and helpful for you. If you need any more insights or you want to talk a little bit more about this, drop me a message, leave a comment, and let's talk some more on this. Thank you very much. If you found this useful, hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share this video with somebody else who would find this very useful.